All right, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Are we live? Are we good? Not showing if we're live yet on my side. Chat, are we there? Can you see me? Can you see me, chat? Are we there? Are we up and rolling? All right. We here. All right, we're in here. Man, a lot of drama, after the holidays. I'm still very sick, by the way. Been fighting off this nasty respiratory thing. I think I got like a viral bronchitis. It's pretty rough. Pretty rough. Got a few things to talk about today. Obviously going to talk about the things that were said about me on the Candace Owens live last night. Very bizarre, considering they're not true. And we'll talk about that. We're going to also talk about, well, the main part of the show is we're getting ready to go to Iran, or back to war with Iran. If you guys didn't notice that. Netanyahu decided to show up and, for his sixth time this year. Oh, also, new tattoo today, guys. Cover up real quick. Little Zeus. The snowflakes, unfortunately, are gone. My first tattoo, I believe it was my first tattoo, one of my very first tattoos, is a cover-up. And I'm not responding to Mitch. Nobody cooked me, by the way. Things were said that aren't true. We're going to address those things. We'll let everybody funnel in here first before we dive into it. What else are we going to talk about? We got a typical Tuesday politics live as well. So we're going to talk a little bit about the stuff going on in, where is it? Minnesota, with all the fraud. A little bit of updates on that. We're going to talk about a little bit more about the Epstein files, because 1 million more files were released, it turns out. We'll talk a little bit about the economy tonight, a little bit about TPUSA, some weird stuff they've got going on. Talk about what Republicans and Democrats have going on. Should be a good show. Should be a good show. All right. How are we doing, everybody? All right. Should we just jump straight into it? Kick it off? I know. Yeah, I know. I know we did. We're going to talk about all that. So, there's actually not a whole lot to talk about in addressing. Baron is yelling at chat. That happens sometimes. Not drinking tonight, guys. I'm still super sick. Still trying to put myself back together after this respiratory thing. Okay, let's talk about what was said about me last night. Apparently, some things I learned that I did that I didn't know I did until now. So if you didn't see this or see the live, we'll pull this up. This is essentially, well, there's a bunch of posts out right now from other people on Twitter. A lot of people attacking me on Twitter. I don't have Twitter, but people send me these things. So you got, this has got most of it here. Let's see. All right, let's read this. This is kind of a summation of what I supposedly did. So here's Sarah Lyons Giffray, no idea who this is, but let's read about this. So it says Candace Owens is currently on live on X and just dropped a huge bombshell immediately after her first episode with Mitch Smo, the military guy. Valhalla, that's me, contacted Mitch and had a very kind conversation with him. During this conversation, Valhalla told Mitch that he needed to be careful because he believed Candace was a foreign asset. Mitch recorded the entire conversation, and I'm glad he did, by the way. And then we'll get to the second part here and address that. Ian's going to address this one as well, but let's address the first part here. Supposedly that I had a phone call with Mitch Snow, and for some reason, I divulged into Mitch Snow that I think Candace is a foreign asset and all these things. Very, very bizarre. Here's the reality, guys. And I'm glad the phone call got recorded, is I've never spoken to Mitch Snow. Not on the phone, not via text, not via email, not Snapchat, not Instagram. If I had Twitter, not Twitter. I have literally never spoken to Mitch Snow. So the idea that I was talking shit about Candace Owens and calling her a federal agent to Mitch Snow, wrong guy. Okay? Different Green Beret. Okay? So Gary from Paramount Tactical talked to Mitch, and he's been very open about that. He talked about it on his show. Once I found out more about Mitch, who this guy was, I didn't want anything to do with him. I didn't want to give him a minute of my time. I didn't want to platform him. And I told you guys that. He never reached out to me. We were never in contact. Well, no, here's the thing. She did. She said Valhalla or Gary. And then she said, they did this, they did this, they did this. And so that's why you have posts like this everywhere. You need to be fair here, guys. Okay? Stuff like this. Valhalla did all this. No, I didn't. I have never spoken to him. That should be rectified. Okay? If you want to criticize me for the content that I make or the work that I do, or you don't like my perspective or attack me personally, that's fine. But to say that I did something like that, which is very damning, when I've literally never spoken to the guy, that's not okay. And that's not fair, guys. So again, and I'm glad that phone call is recorded, because now that we know it's recorded and she's going to put it out, it'll be very easy to see it's not Nate. Nate has never, ever spoken to Mitch Snow. I've lost all credibility. How? I don't understand these attacks. Because you don't have to believe me, because there's a recording. So I can very freely say this. I'm super glad there's a recording, because if there was no recording, then it would be hearsay, and then it would be my word against Mitch's or whoever. But since there's a recording, perfect. That exonerates me from that. Okay, so again, for those of you, I did get a new tattoo, yeah. That's why it's so red. I didn't beg to talk to Candace. And here's the other one. We're going to do the second one. And Ian Carroll is going to come out. Ian already defended me over this. But he's also going to come out and corroborate what I'm saying here. Okay? And that's the second part. Which is that, of course, Mitch recorded, shared with Candace. After that, Valhalla started threatening Candace through Ian Carroll. Valhalla was telling, even if Candace didn't talk to him for the next show, going forward with his Friday show, that it'll hurt Candace. Literally mind blown after Valhalla VFT and his cronies kept saying how much they like Candace all week. Dude is fake as fuck. Okay? Also did not happen. I never threatened Candace through Ian. And not only am I telling you that, Ian Carroll will tell you that. So what are we attacking me for here? Everybody in the chat. I was never on a phone call with Mitch Snow. That story has nothing to do with me. Ian will even tell you I didn't threaten Candace. So what are we doing here? No, this isn't a random Twitter post. This was said on Candace Owens' live stream about me yesterday. That Twitter post is a synopsis of what was said. How did I, and again, these are people that just, you don't watch my content. If you watch my content, go back and watch my video on Mitch Snow. I did on, what was it, Tuesday or Friday? I did not say one negative word about Candace in that entire Friday live on the entire expose. Not one. So I'm very confused. I'm not Gary from Paramount Tactical. I'm not Alex Jones. I'm not all of these other people. I have been very focused on exposing a dude that had $140,000 raised for him that is a scumbag. That's all I did. So again, hmm? Oh, we could do that. All right, hold on. My wife told me I need to bring something up here real quick. But anyway, guys, I'm not the one out here calling Candace a Fed. Not only that, when Candace did her big, huge episode right after she met with Erica Kirk, and her own fans were calling her a Fed, they all said, you switched, you flopped. I even came out and said, I don't think that's true. So again, attack me over things I actually did or I actually said. That's all. Is that not fair? That seems. This is chat's and crazy. I did. Again, you know about a private phone conversation between me and Ian Carroll? This is you guys are out of control, dude. Again, it's fine. Right? Yeah, and really that's what it comes down to. I'll stand on what I believe was the morally right thing to do. And so again, I'm not the one out here calling Candace a deep state Fed or any of this crazy shit. I'm not. I went after her source. So again, the why would I not be angry? When people say you did something you didn't do and it is damning on you, am I not allowed to defend myself when things are said about me that are not true? And here's this. Ian is live on Twitch right now and said Nate never pressured him. So, like, you guys. Yeah. Anyway, it's wild. I sound spooked. No, I'm not spooked. I'm just not going to let people say things about me that aren't true. Which we just, again, I've never spoken to Mitch Snow. Period. And I didn't threaten Candace through Ian. Those were the big accusations against me last night. Ian just corroborated that I did not do that. Yeah, he was just live on Twitch earlier. And he's going live on YouTube, I think, tonight, too. I believe. So, I'm not getting rage baited. But also, here's the other thing. Yeah, people went after my family. Look at this comment. How much did you pay, Ian? Okay. People went after my family. Posting pictures of my parents and shit on Twitter. So, yeah. It's just, it's very bizarre. Like, anyway. So, glad that we could. I'm not a victim. Just don't lie. Don't say I said stuff that I didn't do, or don't say I said stuff that I didn't say. Don't say I did stuff that I didn't do. I think that's pretty fair. Yeah, no, it definitely is. This is very, very true. This is just part of it. But so anyway, yeah, we did it. That's all we really needed to talk about. Again, never talked to Mitch Snow. He's very easily proven through a recording. And as he will corroborate, never threatened Candace through him. So hopefully, you know, that gets corrected, but I doubt it does. So, all right, let's move on with the rest of the show. Let's talk about us about to go to war. Actually, we'll hit some super chats. Then we'll talk about, yes, it looks like we're potentially going to war with Iran, or at least Israel wants to, and we'll probably find our way funneled into that. All right. Hit a couple super chats here. Scott starts the episode out with a big $100 donation. Thank you, Nate. Appreciate you. Thank you very much. Thank you all the supporters of the channel. Obviously, love you guys. We know you guys aren't going anywhere. All right. Shill Team 6 says, Shabbat Shalom. Any haters lurking in the chat, keep your BS away from Jasmine. Yeah, that's one. Don't attack the mods. Also, Dan's boats for the home team and Shapiro's face could stop bird shit midair. Oy vey. Adam says, love to come on sometime, talk about my Texas DPS interaction, my CK assassination video, did the FOIA request myself, got a partial report back, still no cop names. Yeah, that was interesting. We can potentially talk about that offline. Still at smear campaign ran on X, lumping you with Gary. Yeah, I've been calling people out, but don't have a big platform. Do you know who Evan Kilgore is? Jimmy Dore trashed him, but I don't think Jimmy has seen your take. I don't know who Evan is now. Nope. It's getting wild. Hey, Nate, in the military, do they have a word for when a veteran accuses another veteran of stolen valor? I don't know if there's a word for it. Just accusing them of stolen valor, I guess. Candace said you and or tactical, whichever one. React to what she said. Yeah. And then she said they did this. They did this. They did this. No, I didn't. So, again, why are you attacking me for something that I didn't do? Very, very bizarre. Sorry, getting a bunch of text messages. All right. People are freaking out about Mitch because he's discrediting everyone who knows it was Mossad. His own mother and brother want nothing to do with him. Or are people mentioning Nick? I don't know. F the haters, F the liars. Nate, we know you're with it, brother. They can make up all the BS they want. We ain't buying it. Appreciate you, brother. All right. We'll jump back into the live show here. People are saying, no, this is not something I would do. I would appreciate just like a simple apology that like, hey, that wasn't Valhalla VFT, but if not, no big deal. All right, let's move on with the episode. Because yes, as we talked about, Netanyahu is visiting Trump for the 5th time this year. You'll never guess what for. Here's a bunch of things that he's asking for. And this is going to lead us into what's also being said about potentially how we need to assist in striking ballistic missile facilities and potentially all that nuclear capability we thought we got rid of. Maybe we didn't get rid of it, which we talked about that a while back. All right, so let me go ahead. Yep, negotiations over a new giveaway to Israel are heating up because the current 10-year, $38 billion agreement known as Memorandum of Understanding expires in 2027. It's reported that Netanyahu, knowing that the American public is increasingly critical of funding of Israel, is now asking for a 20-year agreement that will cost the taxpayers a minimum of $76 billion. So why is this important? Because this needs to get figured out while Trump's still in office, because you have obviously very, very pro-Israel president right now. So if you want to get a 20-year funding agreement, this is the time to do it, right? Because you don't know what you're going to get with the next president. But they do know the way to Trump's heart, and that is
Trump.
We're giving him awards, much like FIFA. Israel is now giving an Israel, I'm not sure what the award is, the Israel Prize.
Has broken so many conventions to the surprise of people. Decided to break a convention too, or create a new one, and that is to award the Israel Prize, which in almost our 80 years, we've never awarded it to a non-Israeli. And we're going to award it this year to President Trump. This was announced formally over lunch by our Minister of Education, who's responsible for the Israel Prize. It's going to be awarded to President Donald J. Trump for his tremendous contributions to Israel and the Jewish people. I think it's such a fitting thing, and it would honor us, obviously, Mr. President, if you could visit Israel in that occasion on our Independence Day. But I have to say that this reflects the overwhelming sentiment of Israelis across the spectrum. They appreciate what you've done to help Israel and to help our common battle against the terrorists and those who would destroy our civilization.
Iran, essentially. So, yes, the best way to get funding out of Trump or to get him on board is give him an award. And that's what Netanyahu decided to do. Give him the Israel Prize. And let's see what Trump had to say about the Israel Prize here. Start this real quick.
And I've been a great friend to you and to Israel, and it's been my honor. And the award that I was given was really surprising and very much appreciated.
Well, President Trump has broken so many conventions to the surprise of people, and then they figure out, oh, well, maybe, he was right after all. So we decided to break a convention too, or create a new one, and that is to award the Israel Prize, which in almost our 80 years, we've never awarded it to a non-Israeli. And we're going to award it this year to President Trump. This was announced formally.
All right. So, yes, we met to discuss getting $80 billion over the next 20 years, as well as giving Trump a prize. And there was a hot mic that's actually pretty interesting here. To hear what Trump talks about behind the table. We got to let it play for a little bit before we can hear it, though.
But to both of them, I said, we're going to cut you off. No more trade. Then I put 200% tariffs on. The next day they called. We looked. 35 years of fighting, and they stopped. Do I get credit for it? No. They gave me. I did 8 of them. India. How about India and Pakistan? And then, so I did 8 of them. And then I'll tell you the rest of it. How are you doing? Okay.
As he's on a rant about those 8 wars. On a rant about those 8 wars that he solved, of course. That yeah, we all know. We're still not sure what those awards are. But it is what it is. Here's a few more good clips here. Here's one from Asmongold talking about B2s.
Concerned that Israel is not moving quickly enough to phase 2 of the peace plan.
Well, I'm not concerned about.
They're really
anything that
shitting on
Israel's
Israel.
doing. I'm concerned
That's
about what other
crazy.
people are doing or maybe aren't doing.
3 negative
But I'm
questions.
not concerned. They've lived up to the plan. They're strong. They're
The Gaza peace plan, he's saying Israel's lived up to, by the way.
solid. And sometimes they don't understand when somebody violates something
These
that
questions, yeah.
you want to give them a second chance. Well, we'll give them a couple of second chances. But no, Israel's lived up to the plan.
A lot of second chances for breaking ceasefires, it turns out.
Okay.
100%. Don't forget, we made the plan possible by taking out Iran.
I heard about that.
And speaking of Iran, I hope they're not trying to build up again, because if they are,
Here
There
we
we
go.
go.
we're going to have no choice but very quickly
Blow it
to
again.
eradicate that buildup. So I hope
Yep.
Iran is not trying to build up, as I've been reading that they're building up weapons.
Why do
and
they keep doing
other
this?
things. And
You guys,
if they
what
are
are they doing?
they're not using the sites that we obliterated, but they're using possibly different sites. We know
Uh-huh.
exactly where they're
New
going,
sites.
what they're doing, and I hope they're not doing it because we don't want to waste the fuel on a B-2. It's a 37-hour trip both ways. I don't want to waste a lot of fuel.
Sorry, guys, for the cops. So there you go. As we said, what did we think was probably coming? Was yes, we're gonna have Netanyahu shows up, talk about funding, and then of course, what's it turn out? Iran is developing nuclear weapons again in a new location, and we can't let that happen. We hope we don't have to, because we don't want to spend the gas. We don't want to spend the gas money to get our B2s there and back, but yeah. It is what it is. Okay. And yes, Donald Trump has issued the warning that the world is on the edge if Trump threatens Iran with obliteration over nuclear sites. Now, where did we hear this before? It's almost like we heard this. When was this? July? What are we doing? Iran 2 electric boogaloo? Is that what we're doing? We're not even going to try a new strategy to trick the people. We're just going to say we got new nukes and new bunkers. And so we gotta spin this thing up again, boys. And let's see what all the officials are saying. Mike Huckabee, ambassador to Israel, of course. What's he have to say about this? Iran's ultimate goal is to destroy the United States. This isn't only about Israel, says Ambassador Mike Huckabee. I'm still not sure why Iran, halfway across the world, is again their main goal is to destroy the United States. Okay, not sure why that would be the truth, but let's say it is. Here's more politicians again letting us know why we're going to do what we're going to do.
Today, Israel tomorrow, Israel forever. God bless you.
America will always stand with Israel.
I came into Congress 13 years ago with the stated intention of being the leading defender of Israel in the United States Senate.
Great.
And I've worked every day to do that.
There is no Palestinian state, no matter how many papers they put out.
It is up to Israel, and we should support our allies wherever they are when they're fighting the bad guys.
Israel is our greatest ally.
If this capital crumbled to the ground, the one thing that would remain is our commitment to our aid. And I don't even call it aid, our cooperation with Israel.
So to our allies in Israel and to the Jewish people around the world, my message to you is this: reinforcements are on the way.
And he loves Israel too.
It's one of the most important things I do, to watch, be the guardian of Israel.
All right, there we go. So there's literally all of our politicians, all of them, all the ones in charge, letting us know why we're going to do what we're going to do. Now, interestingly enough, Iran is also supposedly saying this. I don't know how much truth there is to this, but supposedly Iran's president is saying that they're in a full-fledged war with America, Israel, and Europe. It's kind of drums up, feels the same way as before. Imagine this is posturing as they're getting ready as well to pretend or potentially fight Israel again. And they've stated here that they are stronger than during the 12-day war. New enemy provocation will face a stronger response. So supposedly, and this is, I believe, a report according to our government. How do we know how true this is? I don't know. Supposedly, Iran has more ballistic missiles and more arsenal today than they did before the last 12-day war. So supposedly, they're ready. Okay, I don't know how true that is. Who knows how much, again, posturing that is. But who knows? And then again, we'll get Iran's response to what's going on with some of this stuff as well, where you have the imam say there will be no Israel in the coming years, and there will be nothing called the Zionist regime soon, God willing. And then another interesting thing, I don't know if you guys have seen this, supposedly there's huge anti-regime protests and riots going on in Iran right now. This also supposedly was happening, and again, I don't know if this is true or isn't true. It's hard to tell with these. Supposedly, massive protests in Iran against the Islamic Republic. Again, hard to say because we always sort of see things like this whenever we're looking to do a little bit of regime change, if you will. There always is these type of, I don't know if you want to call it CIA-esque or Mossad uprisings against the government. And this happens in countries all over the world when we decide we want to change their regimes. So how much of that is organic? I don't know. How much of that is, again, intelligence apparatus work to, again, make the rest of the world think, well, all we got to do is invade Iran and the people are ready. They're ready for freedom. All we got to do is supply the bombs. But yeah. Yikes. All right. Let me move forward here. However, we do have this going on as well. The Pentagon lost track of $6 billion in weapons sent to Israel. So, we're not doing very well with our audits. We're going to take a look at that here in a minute. But yes, we just accidentally lost track of $6 billion worth of weapons. So it's out of $13.4 billion in military aid sent to Israel. Sent since October 7th, the Department of Defense properly tracked only 44%. So where the hell is that going? Is my question. Where's the money going? Where's the weapons going? They're going somewhere, but we're not really sure where. Now, I want to take a little trip down memory lane. If you guys have seen this, talk about why we may have actually fully decided to use our B-2 bombers last 12-day war was potentially because of this. This is a former CIA official.
To bomb Iran was that the Israelis said for the first time, if you don't bomb Iran to take out these deep bunkers, we're going to use nuclear weapons. And they had never threatened that before. And so Trump said, bombing Iran might actually save us from the start of World War III if it keeps the Israelis from using nuclear weapons.
So according to your source, the Israelis told the president of the United States that if he did not use the United States military power to bomb the nuclear facilities in Iran, Israel, acting on its own, would use nuclear weapons.
Yeah.
Do you see why there's a problem with that statement, John?
Yeah.
Because they've never admitted that they've had them.
That's right.
So you're telling me that they just admitted to the president of the United States that they have nuclear weapons and we still do not have them in the IAEA treaty.
I mean, if Israeli nuclear whistleblowers are to be believed, yeah, they've had them. They started working on them in the 50s.
So, I don't know. Again, we don't know how true that is, but if that's true, and the reason we decided to attack Iran was because Israel threatened us and said, if you don't, we'll use nukes on a fucking sovereign country, Iran. That's, I don't know what we would call that. Some type of, it's a threat, it's extortion at an insane level. Like, what? And also, so they do have nukes? Wow. That's not good. So this is the type of thing we should probably be worried about. It's like, how much are we being leveraged here? You know, Netanyahu shows up, asks for another $80 billion, says, hey, we need you to bomb these ballistic facilities. We need you to bomb these new nuclear facilities. And if you don't, then we're going to nuke them and potentially start World War III. That's not great. That's not great. All right. What? All right, here, where were we at? Now, supposedly, this is going around. And again, who knows in the world of psychological operations? Supposedly, Iranian hacking groups have claims of damning info from Netanyahu's aide about Benjamin Netanyahu. Now, I don't know how true this is. There's a few different posts about this. Supposedly, they have full access to his chief of staff's phone, emails, photos, videos, etc. Now, this does feel like odd timing, right? Like, let's say, perhaps, that Iran did hack Netanyahu's aides' computers, and they do have damning information of Netanyahu. It seems like a good time to maybe just destroy Iran if you're Israel, if you're Netanyahu, and get Big Brother United States to be like, hey, we need you to shut them up, like, immediately now. Now, not to say I know, because again, in the world of psychological operations, who fucking knows, guys? But it is a little sketchy. It's sketchy timing. Also, what I want you guys to think about is what else got announced this week, and that is that there is supposedly another 1 million files found that are going to be released on the Epstein files. Another 1 million files. So it's also a very convenient time for a big distraction. Big distraction. We've been talking about that for a while. I thought maybe it would be Venezuela, maybe some type of false flag. But this one seems just a little too convenient of timing. Israel shows up, or Netanyahu shows up again for the 5th time, I believe, since Trump took office, asked for $80 billion, asked for us to get ready to bomb Iran, all in the exact same week as the Epstein files. The big drop is supposedly coming. Maybe it's all coincidences. I doubt it, though. So, some predictions here. Do I think that we're going to, well, we, as in we, I say Israel, because if Israel does, we do. Do I see us, going back to war with Iran? Yeah, I think so. The timeline, I don't know. I don't know the perfect timeline. A month, 6 months, a year. I would say definitely before the Trump administration goes out. Definitely before then. But I don't see it's what they want, right? They still need to take the West Bank. They still want the Greater Israel Project. Iran is their last big superpower that's sort of standing in the way of them becoming the hegemonic superpower of the Middle East. I see somebody said before the midterms. Yeah, see, I don't know. This is what makes me go, maybe not, because this is going to be super, super unpopular politically on both sides. And so you would think this would happen after the midterms, right? But I don't know. I don't know. We'll just have to wait and see. All right. Let's see where we're at. Okay, it's gonna wrap up the start of our episode with, yes, it looks like we're probably headed back to war with Iran. I'm sure there's going to be more and more that come out of this. This all just came from, I believe, yesterday. And then we are going to move on with the rest of our regular Tuesday night political live streams here. Okay. What are we going to talk about first? Yes. The Minnesota shit. The Somali fraud scheme, or whatever we want to call it, that's been sort of uncovered. Who knows what's really going on? What I do think is interesting about this is now all of the government agencies who are rushing in to try to be a part of this, after an independent 23-year-old journalist goes down there, does the biggest story probably of the year from a journalistic standpoint. Now the FBI, now DHS, now they're going door to door. So, as it says here, ICE targeting massive suspected fraud in Minnesota. The American people deserve answers on how their taxpayer money is being used, DHS said. Yeah, but like, where have you guys been on this? Like, at all? Because you weren't doing any work on this before. And it's like you knew about this. Also, here's a pretty funny meme of Nick Shirley taking on Tim Walz. Anyway, that's just a funny joke. But looking back on this is kind of interesting. This is back in 2023, where it says Tim Walz made this tweet. He said, Minnesota's economy doesn't work without child care providers. So we're giving them a raise. We're providing $316 million in direct funding to boost pay for child care providers, all while building a stronger child care system. And as we know, all of that money seems to have gone pretty much strictly to those learning centers and the autism centers. So yeah, not great. And also there's a lot of talk about now, because of all this, Ilhan Omar is going to be removed from Congress, potentially deported. Let's see what Trump had to say about all this.
Do we have any individuals from Somalia in the group? Please raise your hand. That's for Minnesota, you know. That's called the Great Big Minnesota Scam, with one of the dumbest governors ever in history. I love this Ilhan Omar, whatever the hell her name is, with the little shing.
And then look at this that pops up. Trump's own advertisement pops up by Trump's knife set, the 2025 collector edition Trump knife set. If you were interested in buying some Trump knives, he's also pitching those during his speech.
The little turban. I love her. She comes in, there's nothing but bitch. She's always complaining. She comes from a country where, I mean, it's considered about the worst country in the world, right? They have no military, they have no nothing, they have no parliament. They don't know what the hell the word parliament means. They have nothing. They have no police. They police themselves. They kill each other all the time. I love it. She comes to our country and she's always complaining about the Constitution allows me to do this. We ought to get her the hell out. She married her brother in order to get in.
So I don't know if that's ever been proven. The whole brother thing. That's a pretty wild rant. Sorry, guys. Pretty wild rant. But they've been talking about denaturalizing Ilhan Omar and removing her from Congress and kicking her out of the country for years, I feel like. Nothing's ever happened. And here's another one talking about the same thing. House Republicans are now moving towards expelling Ilhan Omar from Congress. And yes, the response here, which I would agree with, is they won't. All I ever hear from them is all talk and no action. It's an old act. And this might be time for the first poll of the night. See what you guys think. Let's see. Will Omar be removed from Congress? Let me know what you guys think. I'm going to say no. I'm going to go with the classic nothing's going to happen button to anyone. I doubt there will be hardly anything done about the fraud. Also, the crazy thing to think about, how much of this fraud do you guys think there is going on all over the country? Not just in Minnesota. Think about California. We'll talk about California. You know, think about some of these bigger cities and states that have massive welfare systems. I got to imagine this is like so widespread that it's probably in the hundreds of billions, if not trillions of dollars, that the government is essentially just siphoning from taxpayers, running through shell businesses, through welfare grants, and people are just collecting the money. I'm pretty sure it's probably pretty massive and widespread. But that's all we know about that so far. We're going to talk a little bit about the Epstein files next before we jump into the economy. So a couple super chats before we fall too far behind. All right. Zach says, F the haters, F the liars. Nate, we know we're with you, brother. They make up all the BS they want. We ain't buying it. VFT. Yeah, I appreciate it, guys. And here's the thing. I've dealt with this before. Attacks, you know, it's part of social media. We'll be fine. We've built a awesome community here, and you guys are super supportive. The positive support and outreach has been far more than the negative, to be honest. So appreciate it from you guys, all the actual members of the community. Go Mini. Candace plays in Vagueness, which plays for women consumers without credible evidence. Nate, we have your 6, brother. Keep speaking the truth. Thanks, Mark. I appreciate it. You did threaten her. First, it was like you were giving an ultimatum and that she better listen to you. It's all coming out Friday. That's not an ultimatum. That is saying, hey, there's a lot of dark shit on this guy. And yeah, it did come out. And I stand by the investigative work I did on that. AI voice of you easily faked, my bro there. Yeah, I doubt it. Nate, you're a good man. Fuck the wall kissers. Appreciate it. The GG or the Gmo Joe. Thank you. The drama is a psyop to derail investigations. It kind of does feel that way because nobody's really actually investigating what, you know, seemed like credible stuff anymore. And maybe it's just because we just don't have any more evidence at all. And there's just a lot of void filling right now, which I get. Thank you, Burberry. Don't feed the trolls. Candace said God led her to Mitch. So truth-telling is attack on faith. Can we address that you used a convicted lifelong felon, JD, to trash Mitch in your previous live when Mitch had 0 conviction? Sounds like falling for 2. Yeah, JD doesn't have any domestic violence charges. So it's not the same. I don't look at domestic violence against women and children the same as I do nonviolent drug charges, personally. Bro, they attacked you because you exposed a woman beater and liar, Mitch. Those acting are paid shills. Don't get the stupidity with that, Mitch. Abuser. All right, we'll get through these. Yeah. All right. Non-convicted, known woman beater. How that work? Okay. People actually watch the live and listen to the information. You might learn something. We're here for you. Aloha from Kauai. Appreciate it. Six's mom. You never threatened her. Her flying monkeys get mean. Look, Candace will react with injury against anyone going against her source. I'm new here. Thank you for telling the truth. Well, thank you, DeBlanco. I appreciate you. Thank you. All right, a couple more and we'll jump back into it. Everyone who watches your show knows that you have been fair, except Anthony Aguilar. But you are right about Mitch and have been super fair to Candace. Confused with Gary for being buff soldiers. Yeah, maybe. So I'm guessing your offer to provide Kansas with personal security is off the table. Oh, we'll keep going. Yeah, probably. What's crazy is people pulling BS out of nowhere. Candace trying to make it seem like Ian is against you is wild. Yeah, actually, Ian defended me during that live stream, and I appreciate that because Ian's a good friend. So thanks to Ian for that one, for sure. That's a bro right there. Doing the right thing isn't free. You did the right thing. Appreciate you. 6-8 whiskey, Nomos Volo. Fuck all the haters. Appreciate it. Mitch didn't take the money. I don't remember Candace bringing your name up as far as a phone call. It did. It was at the very end, I believe, of the live stream. We have to remember people get mad at the truth, especially when they want you to be desperate to believe something untrue. Pathetic. Stand with Nate. Well, thank you, Halos fan. Love the Valhalla fam. Sorry this happened. No, it's all good. Should talk about Israel war bonds someday. Interesting one. When you get Candace's number from Ian, speak to her directly. It's not how everything works all the time. Everyone is misdirecting their anger at YouTubers when it should be at our government agencies that we paid. Yeah, it kind of feels that way, huh? You have nothing to defend. Thank you, Kim Tans. Appreciate you guys. Appreciate all the support, guys. Appreciate all the support. All right, let's keep moving into Epstein files. Gonna talk a little bit about the Epstein file. Okay. Yes, as we talked about earlier, a Christmas miracle. Department of Justice says 1 million more Epstein files have been found. Now, this is interesting because at first there were, the files were on the desk, and then what was the timeline? The files are on the desk, then they were in the binders, and then the files didn't exist. And then it was a government hoax. And then the files did exist. And now somehow there's 1 million more files that have come out of nowhere. So no idea what we're going to get from those. Also, what were you spending the last 10 months redacting? Where did the files come from? I don't know. Good question, guys. We probably won't get any good answers. But this is Donald Trump's response to this, to all of these files being found. Trump says, now, 1 million more pages on Epstein are found. Department of Justice is being forced to spend all of this time on this Democrat-inspired hoax. Okay, it's the hoax again. When do they say no more and work on election fraud? So he wants to focus on the 2020 election instead of the Epstein files. Dems are the ones who worked with Epstein, not the Republicans. Release all their names, embarrass them, and get back to helping our country. The radical left doesn't want people talking about Trump and Republican success. Only a long ago, dead Jeffrey Epstein. Just another witch hunt. So there you go, guys. This is just a big witch hunt. It's all a big waste of time. Big waste of everybody's time. Okay. That's Trump's response. We need to be focused on the 2020 election fraud, not the Democrat hoax. Although, isn't this interesting? Hold on. In the same thing, he calls it a Democrat hoax. But then he also says the Dems are the ones who worked with Epstein, not the Republicans. Release all their names. So in the same post, he calls it a hoax, but then also says it's not a hoax because the Democrats are the ones that are involved. So I don't know. Don't know how we really justify that, but anyway. All right. And then we'll get actual Trump response here. Because he's not happy that everybody keeps talking about the Epstein files.
I'm for I don't, they can do whatever they want. We'll give them everything. Sure, I would. Let the Senate look at it. Let anybody look at it. But don't talk about it too much because honestly, I don't want to take it away from us. It's really a Democrat problem. The Democrats were Epstein's friends, all of them. And it's a hoax. The whole thing is a hoax.
Okay. So there you go. We're back to the entire thing being a hoax, even though the Democrats are in on it. You guys know what political party Donald Trump was in for most of his life, and also while the entirety he was friends with Epstein for like 15 years? You guys remember what political party he was in? Turns out, guys, he was a Democrat as well during all that. Oof. Wife brought me some tea. Some of that. Trying to hang in there with the voice. So yes. Even though it's a giant Epstein hoax, it's also, it's also all Democrats, but not Trump when he was a Democrat. So here's another interesting one. We talked about this before. Let's get Dave Smith's opinion on Dan Bongino, who, again, resigned, I believe, about 24 hours before the files dropped. We did a little poll saying, can we trust Dan anymore? Or are we too hard on him? Let's see what Dave had to say.
Watch Dan Bongino's show again. How could that, like, I just don't possibly understand how anybody could ever go, the whole, as I directly confronted Chris Cuomo about when we debated, like, look, the whole, in this world, and I mean this world broadly speaking, whether you're talking podcasts or cable news or network news or, newspapers or whatever, the whole currency you trade in is the truth, or at least the currency you trade in is honesty. That, like, you have to be able to trust that the person isn't just lying to you, And like, how could you ever trust Dan Bongino again? I just don't understand. I don't know how you could ever sit and have a conversation with Kash Patel or Dan Bongino or any of these people.
I would speculate one of two things. Option one is he gets the premier, basically Fox News or Fox Radio contract that pays him to basically be a mouthpiece for the regime, and he's being paid handsomely, and he's still working out a role. Option two is he tells all and goes, hey, I was there, and it was against my conscience, and that's why I finally left, and here's the worst things that I saw, and this is why I left.
It's really tough for him to pull off option two, because
I don't think option two is happening. I don't think we're going to get a big, here's what's really going on behind the scenes. One, he's guaranteed that he's read on everything, so that means he's signed NDAs for everything. And then two, the believability factor. What did we say about Ilhan? Or 75% said no, she will not be removed. I want to do a poll here on Mr. Dan Bongino. See what you guys think. What will Dan turn to? Let's say Bongino. You got Fox News, his old show. I think it's going to be one of the two, guys. I do think it's going to be one of the two. Let me know what you guys think. I think we're going to see a Fox News. Fox and Friends, baby. Straight to Fox and Friends. All right, let's get back to this show. All right, where was I at? Here. Oh, well, this one won't open up. Okay. Anyway. That's all we got in the Epstein files right now. I haven't seen anything really come out. I don't think they've released any of the million new files yet. They've just announced that they have them. Whatever that actually means. Are we going to even get them? I don't know. Not if there's a big enough distraction, I bet. All right, let's jump into some fun stuff here. Turning Point USA had got some, like always, some very weird, bizarre shit out here. Let's get a little let's get a clip from Tim Dillon here, which is, there's a couple really funny clips here that straight comedy. Here we go.
Turning Point kind of abomination. The right wing of this country has turned into like a bad reality show. The guy got shot 3 months ago, and she walks out to a pyrotechnic display, and then she goes, "We're going to elect J.D. Vance." It's weird that that's where her head is at. It's difficult for many people to relate to. It's not relatable for people that talked about Hollywood is out of touch through a stream of fireworks and sparklers and stand there in a glittering pantsuit and talk about electing J.D. Vance 3 months after your husband was killed. Many people feel that there is something off about that.
Yeah. It's pretty weird. Also, when we have all the rumors about, Erica Kirk potentially being the next vice president, or Erica Kirk maybe being the next first lady, those are a little bit more obnoxious. But it is bizarre shit. But they're staking who they want for 2028, right? And that is the establishment. Turning Point is a talking head of the establishment, which also includes our greatest ally. Turning Point is going to pitch whoever our greatest ally wants as their choice for the 2028 election. We obviously know that. Hold on, we have this one. This one might be the best one I've seen out of any of them so far. So brace yourselves for this.
Is running for the highest office in the country. The other is ready to grieve.
You ready to grieve?
This summer, 2 strangers, 2 very different lives, and one unexpected moment that changes everything. Fall in love all over again. A story of love, loss, and grifting.
Please wait, where are you going?
I'm going to save the country.
When are you gonna save me?
Sometimes the greatest love stories are born from heartbreak. Glitter and Grieve, coming 2026.
Okay. Sorry, I know that one's over the top, but that's one of my favorite ones so far. Also, if you guys saw this, yes, Nicki Minaj is now being, I guess, propped up as the new figurehead for female Christians, turns out. She says, "I'm not going to back down." Rapper makes surprise appearance with Erica Kirk, urges young men to be more like Trump. A lot of people have been wondering what happened here. Sorry. What happened here? I believe Charlie Kirk himself said, and I quote, "Nicki Minaj is not a good role model for young black women." I believe Charlie said that himself. So anyway, people can change. But it seems like I don't know. I just think for Nicki, I know there's a lot of weird stuff with her brother potentially looking for a pardon. And so that kind of feels a little bit more like what's happening here than anything. I don't know the entire story on it, so I don't want to get into it, but here's some more Erica talking about stuff that turns out not to be true.
The guys you dated before Charlie.
I was here for 5 years. I never dated here because I saw vicariously through my roommate how terrible it was.
You were proposed to by Charlie in 2020. You started dating him in 2018. And 3 years before that. We're dating this guy, Tyler Massey. I mean, you guys would do couples photo shoots. This is still online. And this is only 3 years before you started dating Charlie.
Whoops.
She's in heaven. Yeah, and 2 years later, you were dating this guy, Cabot Phillips, and
Whoops.
here he is posting you guys on his public page saying, yes, we're that couple who gets painting lessons together. Again, this is a year before you started dating Charlie, and well within the 5-year period you claim to have never dated anyone, but you were out.
Whoopsies. Just, seems like that's a pretty easy thing to fact check. So you should probably not, I don't know, say that you never dated for someone for 5 years if you had 2 public boyfriends. Very, very odd. But, it is what it is. Let's, one more. And guys, these are comedy. Little comedic relief for the show before we move into the economy. Turn that off. Turn the sound off. Sorry, guys. It would have been better with the sound, but we'll get copyright struck immediately for that. Get copyright struck for that one. Okay. We're going to jump into the economy next. Let's do some super chats before we hit the economy, because that's always, I always like to lead in the economy with some comedy, because the economy is very depressing. It turns out we're going to look at cost of living comparisons between 2000 and today, which is not great. A couple super chats and we'll keep moving. We appreciate the truth. CO or EK is in your circle. Both sides have hearsay. You go with facts. We appreciate you. Thank you, brother. On 19th, you said, this will be most anti-Candace show. Okay. The super chats must be paying good with that new ink. And I'm just an enabler. Again. Yeah. Love the new tat. The artist is definitely talented. Is it Zeus? It is. And it's red right now, guys. But my artist, JD Delay is the same artist, by the way. Very red right now, but it's very good. Very good. Good. That's a cover up too, by the way. But thank you. Nate, love the show. Follow you, Candace and Gary. I like to see the different sides. Keep doing what you're doing. Yeah, I mean, it seems like this is the appropriate thing. Like, you watch everybody from all, this is what I do. I watch everybody from all different angles and different political leanings and ideologies. That way I can get a better sense of, not just strictly what one person tells me is the truth, but, everybody's different. These people literally heard Candace live. She said Mitch told her Valhalla or Paramount Tactical. The recording might be clear, Nate. Well, yeah, of course. The recording will clear me, because guys, if there was a recording of this, I wouldn't come out and tell you I never spoke to Mitch, because then the recording would come out and I would look like a fucking idiot. So I can very confidently say that one. It's like these people have an allergic reaction to common sense and logic. Love the channel. Nate, Mitch Snow gives me I worked on secret moon bases story kind of vibes. Yeah. Someone please educate me on why we give so much money to Israel. Where do you want to start? Batson. Most of it is, I don't know, been going on since 1913, really. Goes way back. A lot of it is blackmail at this point. A lot of it is leverage at this point. Information, more than anything. I saw her stream. Complete wrong about you. Well, thank you. Trump fooled me. I feel better. I voted for Bibi. I feel like I voted for Bibi because you did. You did. Thank you, Chasey. Nate, I was duped by Trump. You and some others opened my eyes. Appreciate you. I appreciate you. Thank you. I've been following you for a while, and Candace since Charlie. She has got it wrong when it comes to you. We'll appreciate it. Sarah, thank you. Candace might have other witnesses she's protecting. If Trump is the peace president, I'd hate to see the other guy. Yeah, who's the war president if Trump's the peace president? He has ended 8 wars, and we're going to talk about it. He actually ended the same war again, the Thailand-Cambodia war. He ended again because it never ended to begin with. We'll take a look at that here in a minute. A couple more and we'll jump back in. Longtime watcher, first paid comment, so thank you all for the free entertainment. Big fan. I'm sure it's been asked, but new tat. Yes, Chasey, new tattoo today. Cover up. That's why I'm a little adrenaline dumped today because I sat in the chair for 5 hours getting drilled on right before I drove straight home to start the live. So being sick plus that, we're a little bit out of energy, but we're grinding. Stop following Candace because you can't say anything about some people coming out like rabid dogs. Yeah, we learned that. We definitely learned that. You're not allowed to say anything against Candace's opinions. So it's all right. It is what it is. We need to actively separate CO left, cult crazy, CO right, still listening, but independent. Love and prayers to you and yours, Nate. Sorry to hear you got hit by CO left. Stay up. Maybe that's what it is. That's an interesting one there. With over 250,000 dead in Europe, what the fuck else do we owe our greatest ally? They were given a nation. Let them protect it. Bobby, great point. He's talking about World War II there. Yeah, we literally, fought the Germans, freed the Jews, and gave them a nation state. And somehow we owe them everything still. I'm not sure where the logic in that is or where it ever has been, but we do it still. 80 years later. Here's a couple bucks towards your next box of tampons for that bleeding mangina. Ooh, good one. You got me. Thanks for the money, though. Very bizarre thing there. People are weird, dude. Then the old guy gives much, if not more credit than Nick. The old guy. Not sure what you mean. Candace sells CIA merch. Candace intelligence agency. I get it. It's funny. It's clever, but feels eyes wide shut. Ricky, thank you. Topher Dubs on YouTube has her live. Sorry, late to the party. Thank you. Elon Omar, $0 to APAC tracker. Yeah, she probably does have $0 on APAC tracker. That's probably the one thing she's got going for her. Nothing real about Israel, America. Thank you. All right, couple more and we're jumping back in. Minnesota man here. Don't want the FBI here. They'll redact all the evidence. It's a good joke. All right, all the news about Somalia, but did we forget the redact Epstein files that weren't supposed to be the military filling its eighth audit, bombing Venezuela, another $8 billion to Israel? We're going to talk about all those things. But yes. Hold on, what's my wife texting me? Wait, what is this? Okay, who's Cabot Phillips, guys? You guys know who Cabot Phillips is? Am I missing something in the story? Apparently he's got he just put out photos in an alibi or something like that. I don't know. Cabot Phillips. I don't know. He's somehow connected Erica's ex. Oh, I don't know. Anyway. My wife just texted me. He put out some post that exonerates him for something. I don't know. Anyway, won't worry about that one right now. I don't have enough context. Oh, Candace said he was there as well. I don't know. I don't know anything about that one. Anyway, sorry, guys. Got interrupted there. No big deal. All right, let's jump into the economy, guys. I want to show you guys something. This is really interesting. Shows you where we've come in, less than 30 years in prices.
It's 1998, and a good house costs about $125,000. A lot of people can actually afford their own place. A new family car costs less than $20,000, and most families can easily swing a new car. Gas is about $1.03 a gallon. We drive to go on vacation or weekend trips all the time without even worrying about the price of gas.
A loaf of bread costs about 85 cents, which is super cheap for every family.
Rent for an apartment is about $650 a month. We can find our own place and not have to share with anyone else.
A Big Mac meal is about $3.99. Lunch for less than $5. Now that's some seriously cheap fast food.
A new CD costs about $14. We love going to the record store to buy albums because it's like a cool collection to show off. Dude, are you going to stay in 1998 or face the reality of 2025?
Oh, my mic's muted. My bad. So, wait, was there no audio on that? What the fuck?
Dude, it's 1998, and a good house costs about $125,000.
Oh, my
A
bad.
lot of people can actually afford their own place. A new family car costs less than $20,000, and most families can easily swing a new
Video
car.
had audio?
Gas is
Okay. So you guys, we got that, right? The video was good? Okay, got it. No, I had my mic muted. That was my bad, guys. Okay, as long as you saw that, I wanted you to see the pricing of where things have gone from. So some of those things have increased like 400 or 500% in 25 years. Which the reason why I want you guys to think about that is I want you to think where prices would be if we stay at the exact same, let's say, inflation rate over the next 20 years. If you 400% increase McDonald's, 500% increase housing prices, the $400,000 house is going to be $2 million. You know, a Big Mac meal at McDonald's is going to be like $50. It's going to be fucking insane. And this is not that far. That's not that far away. I don't know how anybody's going to afford anything because labor, right? How much we get paid is not hardly going up at all. Barely goes up at all. Definitely doesn't even match the inflation rate. But on some better news for the economy, the Pentagon, as we just talked about, has failed its 8th audit in a row. Yes. The highest funded, well, anything in the world, which is the U.S. military, which is about $1 trillion a year budget now, cannot seem to pass an audit. This has been happening year over year over year. Yes, auditors reviewed trillions of dollars in assets and debts and could not verify large parts of it. Huge amount of money can't be reliably tracked. And yeah, that's our own government. So you, individual, if you were to fail an audit, you potentially go to prison. But the U.S. government and the military definitely doesn't need to pass any audits. And that's been going on forever. Yeah. All right. But there's some good news on the horizon. And that is Elon Musk is letting us know that because of AI will take every job and humans will be free to grow vegetables. His work will be optional, not survival. So yes, in the near future, no one will work and no one will have jobs. Essentially, as they say, you will own nothing and you'll be happy. Now, I think that's a terrible idea. I think one of the biggest problems in the world, if you go to any area where especially young men have no purpose whatsoever, war-torn zones, Chicago, Memphis, all these different places, society falls apart. So I don't think removing work from everyone is probably going to lead to a very good society, if I had to guess. I know we all don't like working, but it does give us purpose in a lot of ways. But I don't think it's a good idea. Now, let's talk about the housing crisis. Because nobody can afford housing. Let's see what Donald Trump has to say about what we're going to do about the housing crisis here.
Housing, you talked in your address last night about housing. Yeah. Are you still considering a national emergency over housing?
I'm looking at it.
What would that look like? What would that look like?
You know, there's two thoughts on housing. You have a lot of people have housing that because we have such a strong time and such a strong market, their houses are very valuable. It's a big part of their net worth, their house. I don't want to knock those numbers down because I want them to continue to have a big value for the house. At the same time, I want to make it possible for young people out there and other people to buy housing. In a way, they're at conflict. In other words, you create a lot of housing all of a sudden and it drives the housing prices down. So I want to take care of the people that have houses that have a value to to the house that they never thought possible, that have sort of made them wealthy and happy. And
so there you go. The reason why we are not going to increase building homes and houses is because we don't want to cause the boomers to lose value in their homes. So, yes. Yeah, somebody said 200-year mortgage. That's the, you get your mortgage for like 3-4 generations of your family. So, yeah. So I don't see the housing problem being solved if, again, we won't build any more houses because we don't want to bring down the value of those houses. So the young generation who does not own the houses yet, Gen Z, millennials, they're fucked, to put it nicely, because they can't afford homes. Some can, but I believe the average first-time home buyer is now 40 years old. First time or 39 years old. And the average, no. Is that right? Yeah. And then the average home buyer age, just anyone purchasing a home, is 60 years old. And it's got all these huge downwind effects from this, right? Which is, if you have an entire young generation that can't get into homes, they also don't want to start families, because you don't really want, and now a lot of people have to, don't really want to start a family in a 1-bedroom apartment. You know what I mean? And so that's also going to cause a big problem for even the population rates going forward. And you're seeing this in places like Japan right now, where the young generation just doesn't have any kids. And it's going to be a huge problem going forward. So we'll have to wait and see where this big wealth transfer comes when the boomers finally kick the curb. But it seems like that's probably just going to transfer down one to Gen X, and then we're going to have the same problem. It's going to compound and compound and compound. I don't see, unless something's done. But for young people, there is good news. Even though you can't afford a home, the Trump administration plans to begin wage garnishment for defaulted student loans starting in January. So, yes, for all of you young people who got out and can't get a job and you have shit tons of student loans and you had that student loan deferment, even though you can't afford anything, don't worry. You're now going to have your wages garnished if you are not paying back your student loans. So, womp, womp, womp for young people. Young people just getting hosed. Getting hosed. Young people getting hosed. It's not great. You're going to have to think at some point, this is going to have to shift. All right, another one. If you didn't see this, the Pentagon just signed a major AI deal with xAI, Elon Musk's company. This Elon Musk company will integrate its Grok AI models for all 3 million U.S. military and civilian personnel. AI will be built into a Gen All-Mill, the Pentagon's own platform. Starting 2026, personnel will use it to handle sensitive, classified information securely. So I want you to think about this. Much like Palantir, what we are now going to do is hand over a giant AI database system to the government, which is a contract that Elon Musk is getting, which I wonder why he's getting that. And much like, again, Palantir, more government ability to track and surveil everyone. So you can't afford a home, can't afford to pay back your student loans, but at least the government is setting up a better way to surveil you. We got that going for us. Priorities, priorities, priorities. Priorities, priorities. All right. One more for the economy, because this is important. Here's the actual housing market itself. As you can see here, home sellers now outnumber buyers by 500,000, the largest gap ever recorded. What does that mean? Nobody's buying homes. because nobody can afford a home. And so this huge pivot here from, you see in 2023, where we were about even, we had the same amount of people looking for homes as were selling homes. That is drastically shifted. You would think that would bring down the prices of homes, but it doesn't seem like anybody wants to buy overpriced homes as well. So now we have a situation where nobody's buying homes and very little people are selling homes. And the last time that happened, you know, around 2008, it was not good for the economy, if we remember right. But if the housing market were to tank and crash out of nowhere, don't worry, because corporations like Blackstone and BlackRock will be able to sweep in and buy up all the homes at discounted prices and then jack the home prices right back up. So things are going well in the economy for everybody, right? All right, next we're going to move into our political parties. We're going to do Republicans first, Democrats, and we'll move into, of course, our greatest ally to run the show out. A couple super chats before we do this. All right. Bill Clinton took in some audience to save face for the Mogadishu disaster. Interesting. Hope your pipes are well, bro. Get some rest as needed. We will be here after. They're not, Bobby. They're not, but we got to keep grinding. Jasmine says, love the new tattoo. Remember, the haters are fans too. Yeah, you know, I guess that's a way to look at it, Jasmine. All right, the Shirley thing is overblown. Is it? Way too many holes poked in it. Are you sure? Also, what daycare would be open its doors to random guys asking to see kids? What daycare would be? They're not open. The daycares weren't open in general. That's part of the issue. And so, yeah, if you think there's a bunch of holes in that, that's fine. But no, there's already been shit tons of people arrested in Minnesota, and a ton of this fraud's already been uncovered. We just didn't know how deep this even went. They need to amend the Constitution. Anyone not naturally born in the U.S. should not be in Congress. Can't become POTUS if you aren't naturally born. I kind of like that idea too. You can't be. Do you think you would want that all the way down, even at the local level? Can't be a mayor, can't be a county commissioner, or just at the highest levels. Interesting. Do show on the top 20 pardons in the past year. That's not a bad idea. A lot of those have been purchased, by the way. They were found at Mar-a-Lago. Oh, the Epstein files, the 1 million plus Epstein files. Very sorry for everything that's happened to you and Gary, native. Feel better. Well, I mean, look, man, me and Gary aren't the same person at all. He's got his issues with Candace. I don't have any issues with Candace. I just don't like being lumped into being said that I did things that I didn't do at all. All right. Sometimes it feels like your channel is one of the few remaining objective and politically homeless. Keep it up, Nate. Thank you, meanie meaners. Appreciate you very much. Slightly offensive. Thank you. Add some honey to your tea. Honey sometimes helps with sore throats and coughs. Yeah, I think my wife puts it in there. All right, couple more, and we're jumping back into the show. Another reason why they killed Charlie is because he opposed war with Iran. This is very true. This is very, very true. If you guys didn't know, he was one of the only people when the first Iran war took off. He went to the White House, I believe, and was very critical to Trump about this. Talk to Trump out of going to full-on war. Top Trump out of going into full-on war there. Couldn't have that. That's true. Raja says, big support from North Carolina. Joined the Army ROTC program in February. You're a big inspiration in me finally chasing my dream, joining the Army and serving my country. Thank you for your service and what you do. Much love. Well, that's awesome to hear. Good luck on your journey. It's going to be a fun one. It'll be interesting. It'll be wild. There'll be ups. There'll be downs, but it's a great choice, man. Great move forward for your life. So good luck, brother. All right, last one. We're jumping back in. I think the Epstein files are going to reveal our government is the real Diddy party. Yeah, I think we've all figured that out by now, huh? All right, we'll do Republicans here first, although this first one is not necessarily Republicans. It's general, and that is, oh, you guys can't see this. the great cynical generation. Young Republicans and young Democrats are aligning. So, yes, this is in reference to the populist left and the populist right, or as people might call them, the woke left and the woke right. Okay, so the people who support Mamdani on the left and the people who support Nick Fuentes on the right are sort of coming together in a lot of ways in sort of what they believe politically. So that's going to definitely reshape and restructure the political apparatus as we move forward in time, right? As the boomers go bye-bye and Gen Z comes up and Gen Alpha behind them. We'll see, how much that actually does it, but all right. Oops. Here we go. I like this one. This is just talking about where people are with MAGA at this point. Where MAGA is with MAGA.
Consider myself MAGA, but every day I start to feel more and more like this.
So for the first time in 28 years, the mayor of Miami gets elected and it's a Democrat. And people are like, where are the Republicans? Why didn't they show up? Why would they show up, bro? Where's the Epstein list? Where is the accountability for COVID and the scam that happened to all Americans, where the big corporations got bigger and the mom and pop shops had to close, where they literally shut down the truth about medications that were helping people and watched them die? What about justice for the people that were mandatorily required to get the vaccine? They got it, and now they're having heart issues because they're DMing me all the time. Some of them 1 foot in the grave. Where's the accountability for the freaking Russiagate scandal, where the actual president of the United States plotted and told the mainstream media to go along with it while they lied to everybody and tried to subvert the will of the American public by making everybody think that Trump was involved with Russia? Where's the accountability?
There is no accountability. There's zero accountability for anything. There is no accountability for the Epstein files, literally anything. Like go down the line. We showed the massive list of, what was it? COVID, Fauci, Epstein, January 6th. Everything you look at, there's been zero arrests. There's been nothing done. And there's not going to be anything done. I think we've all seen that now. But if you ask Donald Trump how things are going, Donald Trump is saying that he has the highest poll numbers of his entire political career. Said that 1 week ago. So if you guys didn't know that, yes, Donald Trump is now polling higher than he has ever polled. I'm not sure what polls they're giving him, but, apparently it's the highest that he's ever polled. And it might be because of stuff like this. Yes, another war ended. I'd say 9, but it's still 8 because this is the same war. It's a border skirmish that he already ended once that didn't actually end, that supposedly just ended again, which is, yes, he says, I'm pleased to announce that the breakout fighting between Thailand and Cambodia will stop momentarily, and they will go back to living in peace as per our recently agreed to original treaty. I want to congratulate both leaders on their brilliance coming to this rapid and very fair conclusion. It was fast and decisive. All these situations should be. The United States of America, as always, was proud to help with all the wars. So, yes, another war. That was, somebody said it's a twofer. Who said that? That's a twofer, yeah. And he'll probably count this as 2 wars ended. Why not? Fuck it, right? If you're Trump, say it's 9, dude, right? You've got Cambodia versus Thailand 1, and you got Cambodia versus Thailand 2.0 now. So, add it to the list. Now you got 9 wars ended, baby. Yes. This guy can't be defeated when it comes to ending wars. So, all right. Another thing, just some more stuff going on with Trump. So Trump decided to withhold $1.5 billion in health funding for Zambia until a mining deal is achieved. Here's what I got to ask you guys. I saw this, and my very first thought, I don't know what the very first thought you guys have when you hear something like this, but my very first thought was, why the fuck were we giving $1.5 billion to Zambia to begin with? Because I would assume if you extrapolate this over another 170 something countries, we're probably giving money like this to almost all of them. So why are we giving billions of dollars to Zambia? Why threatening to turn that off to me makes me go, why the fuck wait, what? Why are we giving these people all this money to begin with? But we got a mining deal company. So I want you to understand how this works. We take $1.5 billion in taxpayer money that you paid, we all paid to the federal government. The federal government takes that, gives it to Zambia for health and human services. And what deal do they get? They get a deal and access to cobalt mines that companies then get access to mine that cobalt, come back, sell it, make billions of dollars, and the taxpayer gets nothing out of that. So think about that. Think about that process. Tax the American people, take the money, buy deals with it, for corporations then to profit off of. That's it. That's it, boys and girls. That is the American grift, baby. Corporatism. Yes, I'm trickle down. It's wild, guys. This is what we do. Now, not only is Donald Trump crushing in the polls, JD Vance is also crushing in favorability polls, supposedly. It says here, breaking, Vice President JD Vance's nationwide favorability rating just surged. Now, +6, 50 to 44% per RMG. 48 is looking good. Yes, JD Vance. Massive surge. Again, I'm not sure where these numbers come from, but supposedly, I actually said it right. Supposedly, said it with a D that time. Supposedly, maybe when I'm sick, I can actually say it right. Supposedly, I know you guys hate when I say supposedly. Supposedly, JD Vance, again, absolutely crushing. And maybe this is why, because JD Vance is now sort of trying to, he's a little bit of a chameleon. He's trying to Gavin Newsom this thing. You can see that he sees the writing on the wall, right? So he's sort of trying to fence sit a little bit, as we can see by what he said, or what he's starting to say. Some of these here, I'll make sure you guys can see it. Says VP Vance intends to state out of the civil war between pro and anti-Israel factions. Ooh, he's going to fence it on the right and instead focus on campaigning for the 2026 midterms. Somebody said down here in the comment section, I'm running for president, so I'll avoid serious political discussions. But yes, the chameleon, JD Vance, is now going to just not weigh in on the Israel debate. That way he doesn't have to make anybody upset. He doesn't make the Groyper right upset. He doesn't make the Zionist group upset. We'll see how that works out for him. I know he did. I think he got a ton of backlash when he came for Nick Fuentes. But let's talk about who else wants JD Vance to be president. Oh, that's right. Who's this? Alex Karp, CEO of course, Palantir. Let's see what he has to say.
Primary issue on political stuff is not exactly in being slightly unfair to your question. I think the primary issue for America is, do we have a closed border? At this point, I'm kind of a single issue voter. It's like, is the border closed or is it open? Europe is an unmitigated disaster because of unfettered, stupid migration.
Of all the people you've met, who would make the best president? Who do you think should be the next president?
Here we go.
The president that will legitimately, incredibly say the border's staying closed, or there'll be common sense cultural standards used on top of just pure IQ, and the president that can really, really credibly fight for workers.
That sounds like the current Vice President, JD Vance.
You asked a question, I'm giving you an answer. The way I would judge it is, who is the person who actually believes and will implement things that make working class Americans healthier and wealthier?
That sounds like Vice President JD Vance, raised in Appalachia. Do you like him? Do you think he should be president?
You're asking lots of political questions, and I obviously support a lot of what the president does. I'm just going to say, you asked a question, I get an answer, and I'll tell you, to go back to your other questions, The problem on the Democratic side is if you're honest and private, it's now a party repping people with non-domain specific knowledge who are kind of and not the working class.
Is there someone you'd like to see as the leader on that side?
Anyone who reps this.
Yeah, look at that. He knows as the CEO of Palantir, if he says, I endorse JD Vance for president, that's going to be not good for JD Vance. And so he's trying to skirt the question, but it's obvious. We all know Palantir has got one person in mind. But let's see what Palantir Alex Karp also had to say. And he's speaking about sort of the woke left, the woke right, the populism, America first, essentially. What he doesn't like America first, essentially.
You consider a competitor?
Our competition is actually political. The woke left and the woke right wake up every day figuring out how they can hurt Palantir. And if they get into power, they'll hurt Palantir. How could you build a society with unfettered migration in Europe and not have Palantir? I don't know how you're going to do that, but they think they can do that. If they win, they will pull us out. Or if the right woke wing, which is like everything's a conspiracy, any use of technology is actually going to only be used to eviscerate and to attack us, is like our data protection part of Palantir is built into the software. It is literally the hardest software to abuse in the world, but they don't seem to want to do it. But if you don't want meritocracy, either left or right, you don't like the consequences of it, you hate Palantir. And
so Palantir's biggest enemy is people who are sketched out or critical of a giant tech surveillance company having access to every single person's data in the country. So essentially Palantir's biggest threat is the American people. So I don't. And again, that's JD Vance's, Peter Thiel, who founded Palantir. JD Vance is his little protege. Yeah, so think about that. Also, here's one more on Palantir. Myron talked about it.
Palantir is evil software that's responsible for the death of tens of thousands of innocent people. And here's the thing, you guys want to know why I know Palantir is dangerous? Because I've actually
way more than tens of thousands, guys.
Used it. When I was a special agent with Homeland Security Investigations, I had access to and used Palantir to conduct some of my investigations. This was years ago. It was a very fucking powerful software. It has an incredible ability to link things, put things in a format where it's easier to read, reports, etc. I see what it's capable of. I know what it does. All these other commentator motherfuckers, they've never seen it. I have.
Except for guys like me. Because yes, to Myron's point, in special operations and a lot of the military now, we've been using Palantir for almost 20 years. That's what we use for our intelligence apparatus and special operations. And yes, it's very, very good. And it's very, very strong. I don't even know what it's like now in, 2025. But even back then, it was insanely strong and insanely good. So, and that we were using it for intel apparatus to track down bad guys, right? In the Middle East when we were at war. What they're using it now for is on the American people to track you, all of you. So, all right. We talked about this earlier. The buying pardons. Now, I don't know if this has been proven yet, but this is a supposed story by the Wall Street Journal. It says Wall Street Journal drops an article allegedly exposing Trump profiting off selling pardons for $1 to $6 million apiece. I will say, again, I don't know if this is proven, but when Donald Trump has been asked about some of these people that he's pardoned, like the Binance CEO, I forget that guy's name, they asked him, why did you pardon him? And Trump said, I don't even know who that person is. Well, there's probably a lot of that going on. Now, I would say this is probably something that's happened in a lot of presidencies, I would guess, but typically you're not like 10 months in. You still got three years left. And Donald Trump is definitely the partner in chief right now. But would not be surprised. Let's see how ICE is doing. Because they kind of in some hot water recently with deporting multiple veterans, it turns out.
You told agents that you had served in the military. Is that correct?
Yes.
You clearly stated that you were a U.S. veteran and served this country. Is that correct?
Yes.
When you were violently arrested by ICE, you had no contact with your family the entire time that you were in detention by your own government that you served in Iraq. Is that correct?
Yes.
How many United States military veterans have you deported?
Sir, we have not deported U.S. citizens or military veterans.
I don't believe you, sir.
For those-
Madam Secretary, we are joined on Zoom by a gentleman named Sejun Park. He is a United States Army combat veteran who was shot twice while serving our country in Panama in 1989. He is a combat veteran, a Purple Heart recipient. He has sacrificed more for this country than most people ever have. Earlier this year, you deported him to Korea, a country he hasn't lived in since he was 7 years old. Will you join me in thanking Mr. Park for his service to our country?
Sir, I'm grateful
Wait
for
for it.
every single person that has served our
And
to have
behind you, please stand up, sir. His name is Jim Brown from Troy, Missouri. He is a Navy combat veteran who served our country in the Gulf War. He's married to a woman named Donna, who came to our country legally from Ireland when she was 11 years old. She has lived here for 48 years. Because of you, Jim's wife, Donna, has been in prison for the last 4 months. She did not come here illegally, and she has never committed any crime other than writing 2 bad checks totaling $80 10 years ago.
So, yes, not great. Deporting veterans is not great, especially combat veterans that have been shot multiple times. They got to get their shit together with that, guys. Like look, I'm a big proponent of having a good immigration policy, but yeah, deporting veterans or people that serve this nation, that ain't it, guys. There should definitely be some delineation between that. Now, we're going through the Republican Party here. Think things are going bad? Well, don't worry. Breaking, the Bush family, led by George W. Bush, plans to reclaim control of the Republican Party following Trump's second term. Or the Daily Mail, excuse me. So, yes, the Bush family is coming back, boys. They're coming back. And who are we going to get? I mean, Jeb Bush didn't work. Is there another Bush I don't know about? Yeah. It's just, I don't see it happening. I just do not see this being an environment where the Bushes are about to take control of the Republican Party. I don't see it. But who knows? Found this poll very interesting. You guys might be interested in. Being Libertarian posted a pretty big poll here. It says, what do you attribute most of the divide on the right? Epstein files 10%, Charlie Kirk's murder 5%, the economy 2%, relationship with Israel 83%. So that's going to be the actual biggest thing on the docket come 2026 and especially come 2028. We'll see. Whoever wants to address that is probably going to absolutely crush it. And actually, Matt Gaetz, who a lot of stuff going on with him, don't know what's true, what's not at this point, but he talked about this.
Going to censor the presidential debate stage in 2028 because let me walk through what you're going to see. You are going to see candidates on the Republican debate stage and on the Democrat debate stage that are going to say, I'm going to cut off all aid to Israel. I believe the U.S.-Israel relationship is toxic. I think it is an abusive relationship, and the United States is the abused partner, and we need to leave. And those people are automatically going to surge to a prominent position in the polling in their parties. And so then how are you ultimately going to censor a viewpoint that is a rising viewpoint on the left and the right?
Right. Well,
Yep. I think it's going to be the biggest issue of the next election. We'll see if they let us talk about it or if everything starts getting hammered, censored, deplatforming comes out. And again, will the politicians even be allowed to talk about it? I don't know. We'll have to wait and see, but it will be the biggest issue to talk about. On some good news, Donald Trump said crime in the United States is at the lowest levels on record. Much of that is attributed to the most successful southern border operation history. When I looked this up at a fact check, it said this is not true, but who knows? And then also, this is kind of funny when we don't know how per capita works. Also, there are more people working in the U.S. today than ever before. MAGA, yes. There are more people working in the United States than ever before because there are more people in the United States than ever before. That's part of the problem. So that's also not a great thing when you think about the labor market. The more people you have, because the labor market works off supply and demand, right? The more people you have, the less you have to pay people, right? Supply, demand. The supply of workers is really high. The price you pay them goes down. So that's not great. It's not a great thing to brag about, it turns out. Also, I wanted to show you guys this, if you didn't see it, this fantastic Christmas message. A lot of you may have seen this. We laughed about this at my house on Christmas. Donald Trump's Christmas message to the country. Merry Christmas to all, including the radical left scum that is doing everything possible to destroy our country, but are failing badly. And then, I'm not going to read the rest because it's your typical everything in the world is the best thing in the world. But to start off your Merry Christmas message with Merry Christmas to all, including the radical left scum. Yeah, I mean, I laugh at it because it's so embarrassing that that's the president of the United States on Christmas Eve. It's like, dude, you can't just for one tweet on Christmas Eve just be like, hey, Merry Christmas to all Americans. But no, God forbid we just say something normal, which he just can't do. He refuses to do. Okay. Oh, and then I want to talk about one last one because we've talked about General Flynn a few times. I can't figure this guy out. General Mike Flynn. It's like sometimes he's like got the great America first takes, criticisms of Israel, but then at the same time, he's got stuff like this where he says, breaking, we the people demand accountability. Dear POTUS, I know you are listening to We the People. This message is sent on behalf of the very frustrated 79 million Americans who voted for you and millions more who refuse to be ignored. Therefore, we are designated 2026 as the year of accountability. Yeah, great, dude. But like, Mike, he ain't that guy. Trump's not the accountability guy. We can see by the Epstein files. We're getting no accountability. Nobody's been arrested. This isn't the administration for that. So no, Mike, I don't think we're going to see any accountability. I don't think 2026 is going to be that year. I don't know when we might get that year, but I don't see it coming anytime soon. Okay, that's the end of Republicans. We're going to move into Democrats. We'll take a couple super chats before we move into what's going on with the Democrats. A lot of interesting stuff going on. Where were we at here? Epstein. I think, okay, they were on Bobby's. All right, Bobby says, Epstein files. I feel like it's getting bad. Strip show and no ride home. Ugh. Netanyahu was in control of Epstein and has the dirt on Trump. I don't know if this is true, but it sure feels true. All right. 35 states sent $1 billion since October 7th and more through history. So what he's saying we sent $35 billion to our greatest ally since October 7th. So yeah, if you look at each state, that's how much that would be, which is a lot. Nate, I got caught in sauce with all this fighting going on. Just want to answer Justice Charlie with all the stuff. The administration and Charlie had been a lot. Sorry, my G. Really not any fighting going on my end. That's the crazy part. I'm not fighting with anybody. I've had nothing negative to say about anybody in the space, other than obviously the source. Doc says, you and Gary served in first group, and with people who knew Harry, none of the people criticizing you can say that. I had a front row seat to this insane soap opera from day one. Thank you. Was wondering if there are any more states than just Minnesota. Now I'm wondering if the childcare and healthcare are not the only business scams in multiple states and businesses, and now how difficult it will be to find. I think it's widespread, guys. I think it's probably everywhere in every state. The amount of it is probably insane. But people also don't want it to come out, right? Because politicians are involved. Like, everybody's involved. Government's involved. So I have a feeling it's a lot worse than we think. Of course, JD Vance is going to marry Erica. We all know beards get whiter as men get older. Okay. Charlie Kirk is definitely going to haunt Erica after the Nicki Minaj appearance. I know he's punching air. Love the content. Keep up the work. They're great work, Nate. Thank you, Nick. I appreciate it. Really feels like Mitch controversy was designed to sow tension between all the influencers that have been looking into CK. Keep up the faith. God bless. Starting to kind of look like that. Why does Gary get away with his guns behind him on camera on YouTube channel? I've never heard Candace say anything about you. I don't know. I don't show guns. I try not to. I didn't realize until Brent, my buddy Brent Tucker, he got his entire live stream yanked down because he had guns in the background the other day. So I don't show mine anymore. All right. Sounds like your friend Ian may have pressured Candace about Mitch on his own accord and used you as a scapegoat. I was listening to him yesterday, and I was shocked he tried to clear your name. Yeah, I don't think that's true at all, by the way, whatsoever. But I did appreciate that Ian defended me and said that what was said about me or what I supposedly did isn't true. So we obviously appreciate Ian for that. Nate, you're tired for health reasons. What was wrong with you? A lot physically. Had a military free fall accident, skydiving accident, tore pretty much everything out of both my shoulders. Had them completely reconstructed. Had my biceps had to get put back on my pecs. A bunch of knee surgeries, different things like that. So not great. All right, couple more, and we'll jump into our Democrats here. The dollar's lost 97% of its value since 1913. This is true. I did a video on this earlier today on my channel. Yep, that is definitely true. Was born in 1950. This shit's out of control. 207 at Buc-ee's today. That's gas, I'm assuming. 400 for HEB for food. Yep, life is good. Kind of sucks. Well, I'm glad it's 207 for you at Buc-ee's. It's almost $4 a gallon out here in Oregon, brother. All right, here we go. Let's jump into our Democrats here. Yeah, first thing we're going to look at is some odds, and that is going to be, I believe these were Kalshi odds. Yeah, Kalshi odds, and I looked this up, and this is actually where they were yesterday. It says which party will win the House next year. Kalshi odds have 75% for the Democrats, 25% for Republicans. Not looking great for Democrats. Not looking, or for Republicans, excuse me. Odds are looking real poor. However, Democrats supposedly are bleeding support coming into the midterms. All right, it says report. New polling shows Democrats are losing ground heading into 2026 midterms with voter enthusiasm and trust slipping in the key battlegrounds. The data points to growing frustration over inflation, crime, border security, foreign policy, areas where voters increasingly say Democrats are underperforming. So kind of interesting. You've got the Kalshi odds saying the people believe that Democrats are going to sweep. And then you have other polls saying, maybe not. And here's some of the reasons. Okay. The fraud stuff is pretty bad. So supposedly, there you go. I'll try to fix it for you guys. I know you guys get super mad at me. Gavin Newsom under fire amid allegations of $76 billion in fraud. So the California state auditor placed 8 state contingency agencies on a high-risk watch list over concerns about fraud, waste, and mismanagement. Huge report that went into it. And Yeah, these are just videos on it. But this is also one of those things that is going to be a big problem for Democrats going in the midterms too, is things like all this fraud in Minnesota, California, places like that. Not that I think necessarily it's going to really be that big of a referendum on Democrats. I think Democrats are going to absolutely destroy in the midterms. Just as a referendum on Trump more than anything. But we'll see. We'll see. Let's see what Bernie had to say. Always good to check in with Bernie when it comes to the Democrat Party.
As to whether or not the Democrats have, by and large, turned their backs on the economic needs of working people.
To focus on other issues?
Yes. I've been making that point for quite a while. And the other critique of the Democrats is they have refused to recognize the severity of the crises that we face. As you and I speak, there's real pain in this country, right? People are really struggling.
It's kind of a double whammy, right? That you are focusing on something which only affects a minority of people, which is pretty horrendous in terms of messaging, which doesn't seem to resonate in the same way. And also, there are all of these problems that would be really good for you to focus on.
If you address them.
Yeah, and probably would resonate with more people, which is why, I mean, both me and you agree on this, which is it does feel an awful lot like the Democrats are out of touch with the working class. And is it surprising that they lost ground with them?
The answer is, I think after the election, and I worked very hard for Kamala Harris. After the election, I said something to the effect that we should not be surprised that after the Democrats abandoned the working class of this country, the working class abandoned the Democrats.
Well, there you go. I mean, I always take everything Bernie says with a grain of salt, when he's complaining about the economy and the housing market when he owns 3 homes and he's doing quite well for himself. But like he said there himself, Democrats have also abandoned the working class people. And there is big referendums on a lot of the Democrats. Here's one right here. Chuck Schumer, looking at his lowest approval rating, I think, of all time, at 28%, which is really, really bad. I don't know how you even get this low. But even his own party absolutely hates Chuck Schumer. So the Democrats are sort of also suffering from, I guess, talent going into 2028. Who's going to run? Is it going to be Jasmine Crockett? Is it going to be Gavin Newsom? Jasmine Crockett is now saying those people who regret voting for Trump are welcome to join her campaign. So he said, we're going to see people that are regretting that they voted for Trump, and those people are absolutely welcome in our campaign, says Crockett. Yeah. Yeah, I don't know. I don't know, Jasmine. I don't know if that's where, not our Jasmine, but Jasmine Crockett. I don't think the disillusioned right is going to be heading over to Jasmine Crockett's side anytime soon, but also for accountability, this is an interesting one I saw, because as we talked about, the Trump administration has arrested literally nobody for anything. By this point, Biden's term, 725, I don't know about patriots here, but again, just for the point of the post here, 725 people have been arrested. By this point, Trump's term, no one has been arrested. We need to get rid of Pam Bondi. So, yeah, even though might not agree, obviously, with what Biden did, at least the Biden administration was doing things on behalf of their party for accountability compared to the Trump administration, who refuses to arrest anyone for anything, which is insane, but that's where we're at. Okay, but who is the most likely candidate to actually run for president? Well, it turns out everybody's starting to put all of their things in the AOC basket. See what she had to say.
You could beat J.D. Vance in a head-to-head race for president, as polling suggests, in 2028.
Listen, these polls, like 3 years out, are, they are what they are. But let the record show, I would stomp him.
Thank you, Congresswoman.
Okay. So now it's a time for a vote. May not be one you like, but we've got to do it. All right. Let's do this. And I'm sorry, there is no neither option on this. Who would you vote for? You have to choose one. There is no neither option. You can vote JD Vance or you can vote AOC. You can't vote both. You can't vote neither. Excuse me. But of course, as we just talked about, Washington Examiner says AOC has a real shot at the presidency by following Trump's model. Yes. There's no neither, guys. I'm sorry. This is the problem with this one. I'm not putting neither because if I put neither, it's going to be 96% or 95% neither, 2% one or the other. We can't do it. We have to vote to give us some sort of sense of which way this thing would go. Okay? Not going to be neither. All right. That is going to wrap it up for our Democrats section. Oops. Need to actually clear some of this stuff out. Short section here on our greatest ally tonight, because we obviously talked about that at the start of the show. Before we wrap this up, just a few things to look at. First one's actually not going to be about that. It's going to be about Ukraine. I don't know if you guys saw this. Supposedly, we're about to end the war in Ukraine again for the 400th time, even though we never do. But this was some funny clips from the press conference between Trump and Zelensky.
Wants to see Ukraine succeed. Once it sounds a little strange, but I was explaining to the president, President Putin was very generous in his feeling toward Ukraine succeeding, including supplying energy, electricity, and other things at very low prices.
Well, that happened.
Yeah, I didn't look real confident in that. But apparently, according to Trump, Russia is very interested in seeing Ukraine succeed, which not sure that's how war works with another country. But according to Trump, this one right here, just because we always love to give a shout out to one of the greatest presidents. Gonna turn that off. Yep. This is the last one that didn't do it, turned out. And we saw what happened. We saw what happened there with that. We were going to talk about this. Hold on. Let me restart this just to see where our government's at. Doesn't matter where you look. Politicians, FBI. This is what they got to say.
America to wake up and prioritize Israel and bring home Israelis and make sure we stand by our number one ally in Israel.
There we go. Doesn't matter where you look. Also, this last one. You should, if you want to, I believe it was Tucker Carlson interview between Matt Gaetz and Tucker. Basically where Matt Gaetz talks about how he was blackmailed by Israel. I don't know how much truth there is to this. Hard to say, but it's an interesting watch if you haven't seen it yet. Okay. Now, that's going to wrap up the show for tonight. Short show tonight because I'm still, again, very, very sick. Thank you all for sticking with us for this whole show on our Tuesday Night Lives. We are going to move into the rest of the super chats, and then we are going to jump out of here so I can get some rest. For those of you who just came for the regular show, glad to have you. For those of you who want to stick around for the super chats, let's dive into it and get through the rest of these. All right. Miss Crow says people want the nuclear family back, but ignore what made it possible. Eisenhower taxes over 90% on the wealthy, strong unions, higher corporate taxes, family stability, then was built on policy, not just values. There's some truth to that. There's also the labor market was much, much smaller. If you go back to those eras, a lot of times most of the women didn't work. I'm not saying I agree with that necessarily, right? I don't want to make the women mad, but you had kind of half the size of the workforce, which also inflated the price that laborers were paid. So you actually could afford things on a single family income, things like that. Once USA is 1/10, you'll be free. Yeah, the 109 joke. Serious question: why do we pay taxes? I don't know at this point, guys. I really don't know at this point. Ilya says, seems like we're drifting towards an escalation in the Middle East with Iran or Israel this time. There will be no Charlie Kirk to talk Trump out of it. Yeah, I think we're headed there for sure. I don't know when, but I think it's coming. Probably sooner rather than later. FDR signed EO 6102, making people relinquish their gold to the Federal Reserve in 1933. When we left the gold standard in 1971, I talk about this too. Yeah, that destroyed the currency for good. Going to fiat currency for sure. Everything Valhalla says is legit if you go back and listen to past lives. Well, thank you. This is exactly why Truman didn't want to be involved creating Israel. True. Sort of see the writing on the wall for American empire when Somali pirates have literally captured a major city. It's like the South Park episode. Unless your artist asked you not to, drop his name, shop Insta. I'm in the industry. Looks like he did a great job. Tatton is deaf hurting right now due to the Mango Mussolini economy. So yeah, my tattoo artist said it's really bad right now. W size of your audience, I'm sure he'd appreciate it. Yeah, so well, I don't know if he wants me to share who he is, and so I'm not going to do it right now. But if you want access to him directly, because he's very, very good, send me a message on Instagram. But yeah, he did say that the tattoo industry is really hurting because of the economy and people just don't have the money to go get things like tattoos, which is not great. Please don't tell me Mitch is keeping. I don't know. I have no idea. I've read By Way of Deception. I have not. I've been trying to get the story out. Need help. Trump was involved with MLM pyramid schemes called ACN for 10 years until 2015. I don't know who you can try, man. There's no, they're doing it in like broad daylight at this point. So Nate, there's fraud. 100% surely it's just a bad faith. Oh, okay. The Learning Center does have kids. Surely went before they opened. Even blurred hours in the vid. Interesting. So they can't even spell the name right, but Shirley's the bad faith actor. Okay. What's the point of Republic, Nate? I don't know. Or democracy at this point. We're just living in a full-on oligarchy. Until the Epstein class is held accountable or held to account, society will continue to degrade. Thank you for the domicile, America. Fuck yeah. Yeah, this whole no accountability for anything ever is really definitely, I think, having a big effect on the American people for sure. I think people are just tired of it. As long as we have lobbyists and big money in politics, this is what we get. Just more of the same. I agree with you. Candace doesn't like you because Gary's always dropping your name and saying you're teaming up on his lives. Yeah, that's not true. Trying to do it like Loomer did Alex Jones. Look, me and Gary are our own independent people. I did my own investigation into Mitch Snow, and I put out my own information on that. Okay, so other people can do their own thing. They should have named JD Vance to AD Vance. LOL, if you don't get it, a joke, you will be disappointed. Bobby says everyone forgets Gen X until they forget us. We are getting pissed. Yeah, that's true. Yeah, but you guys are going to inherit most of the wealth, most likely, once it comes down from boomers. Do you think the recent UAP testimony in Congress is helpful? I haven't seen it. Thank you, Chris. If it's Kansas fans going after you, then they aren't followers, but cult members. Let's just be better than the left in Israel. Say no to cults. Yeah, I mean, the people going after me aren't members of my community. But it's fine. It's the internet, social media, guys. Part of the game. You get attacked, and it is what it is. How many more Epsteins are there? A lot, probably. A lot. Recipe: 1 whole red onion, 1 tablespoon of raw honey, 1 lemon with no seeds. Yes, even the peel. 1 cup of water. Mix a smoothie. Keep in the fridge. Do a shot or 2 after each meal. You are awesome, bro. Well, thank you. I'll look at this one later. See if we can figure that out. I need something, guys. This one's been lingering for almost a week. It's been dead. Nate, Rightful Rogue, says he really, really likes you. Well, thank you. Ghost says what we should do. What should we do if they start garnishing student loan debt? I'm in medicine and I owe a fuck ton. Lost money on a house I couldn't sell. Don't do my own vehicle. Have 25K in credit card debt. Well, I don't know, man. I'm not somebody that could really probably help you with that. There's probably some better YouTube channels for that, for helping you when it comes to this. I take on another job. I know it's depressing to say, but I don't know. It's rough out there for everybody. Candace got you mixed up with Gary. That's what Ian said, which was fair, but I'd like her to correct that. Because, saying things that I didn't say, or didn't do. I don't like that, but it is what it is, guys. It's not a big deal. Trump is getting his pull from Bubba, apparently. If you served, especially if you're deployed, you should not be detained or deported. Sorry, emotional about that sort of thing. 100%. Yeah, this is, not okay. Deporting combat veterans or veterans in general. If you served your country, I don't care if you went to combat, you served your nation, you should. I mean, there's a lot. I don't know exactly how the path to citizenship works when serving. I know there is one. But I think if you sign up and you serve the nation, then you should just literally get your citizenship at the end of your 4 years or whatever you're doing. Because you serve the nation a lot more than a lot of people. So I'm sure you know the 1998 movie Snake Eyes. Yep. It's crazy CK connections, but are you aware Carla Gugino also starred in a 2025 movie called Heads of State as VP Elizabeth Kirk? I did not know that, but there's so many weird connections in that movie. It's very, very creepy. Thanks for the service. I like the no BS content here. Appreciate it. I think Ukraine will become the equivalent of Israel on their side of the world, just another leech on the U.S. economy. Well, what did Zelensky say? He wanted to turn Ukraine into a bigger Israel. Zach says, first-time viewer, thanks for your service sacrifice for my freedoms. I'm lucky to have a house, but costs for kids is just too much, and I'm 30. Yeah, I think the economy is going to be a big one. Affordability is going to be a huge one coming up on the next election, no doubt. Because something's got to change. And we're still on the trajectory of like inflation and costs going up in the labor market, and labor and income is not going up alongside it. Something's going to have to change. I don't know what is going to change, but yeah, it's not good. Google says 10 of 11 recessions started under the GOP. Every Republican president since 1889 has seen a recession begin during their first term. Now, think about what you just said, though. Okay? And again, I don't know if this is true, but this is just me reading it. 10 of 11 recessions started under the GOP. Every Republican president since 1889 has seen a recession begin during their first term, which would mean, depending on if you're talking about the beginning of their first term, the economy lags behind time, right? The economy's got 6 to 12 months before it has to catch up. This would kind of suggest because of Democrats. But again, I don't know when in that span. Was it the third year? Was it the fourth year? That would change everything. So I don't know. Don't know how good that data is also. Oh, somebody said, well, thanks, guys. And thank you to both. Thank you to everybody. Baron has been supportive. Coach Colin has been supportive. Ian has been supportive. And so I love all those guys. Nothing but great things to say about all those guys in the space. You look like you're feeling much better. Well, I'm glad I look like I'm feeling much better. I'm not feeling a whole lot better, but we're hanging in there. Blessings to you and your family in 2026. Thank you very much. Appreciate you. Bobby says, can we just say politicians are the biggest problems to politics? I mean, at this point, yeah. But I mean, how do you fix that? Ugh. All right. Hereby some echinacea and quercetin. I haven't heard of this for your autoimmune system. Yeah, I think it's viral because I've been taking antibiotics for a week and they haven't done much. Been taking azithromycin for it. I think I got a viral one. For you to feel better, Happy 2026. Thank you. Yeah, guys, we're almost in the new year. Almost in the new year. I think maybe, I don't know. Should we do a New Year's Eve stream tomorrow? I didn't even think about that. Because I don't go out or party or do anything. Usually not even usually asleep by like 9. I don't know what you guys are doing. We might do something like that. Might be fun. Might think of like a fun topic we could cover. Could be completely separate to what we've been tracking with politics or something. I'll figure it out. I'll see if we can do something. I know a lot of you guys like me and you're sitting at home hanging out on New Year's Eve as well. So yeah, let's look into. I'll ask my wife because I don't know. Yeah, I got to see how I feel though. Hopefully, I have been getting a little bit better each day. So today's been a rough one though. I'm like burned out sitting through this tattoo for 5 hours and then coming straight to this. We're barely hanging in there. All right, as a 40-year-old, I'm at a point where I don't have the faith they can vote this Israel first government out. The American people continue to be last. I agree with that. You think this YouTube garbage is worth exposing your fam to this nonsense and drama? Half the chats are bots, but irony takes one lucky psycho. Look, man, it is what it is. What are you going to do? If people want to, try to dox you and show pictures of your family online, it's a pretty shitty thing to do. Even attacking people personally, not something I do almost ever, unless it's like Laura Loomer, somebody like really just morally disgusting. Sometimes I will, but you'd think you would just leave it to the actual content, but that's not the world we live in. And so it's fine. People can do that. It's not something I'm going to do. And I think I just will have the moral high ground because of that. It's fine. All right. Let's keep moving. So compromised. I'm cross-eyed. APAC can't save me. Yeah. From Cash App Patel. There we go. I get the joke. Earl Liberty says, how many firings do you think there will be in 2026 when the Republicans go belly up in the midterms? A ton. I think that's when we're going to see all of them. I think there's going to be tons of infighting politically, especially if Republicans get blown out. It's going to get really ugly on the Republican side. Yeah. It's going to get real ugly. All right. Let's see. What the hell is an Israeli prize? I don't even know. It's like the FIFA Peace Prize. They probably just made it up because he loves prizes. We saw Trump loves prizes. He loves trophies, even if they're just made up on the spot. Coffee mug that reads number 1 president in history of the world. Yeah, but it's probably something like that. Can someone try to find Dan Flood, or is he gone? I think he was fired, as far as I know. But is what it is. All right. Thank you for being level-headed right winger. Any thoughts on the 22-year-old female born in Maryland that ICE is trying to deport? I don't know about this story, man. Unfortunately. All right. Final one from Bobby to wrap the show up. Says, get better, man. Your peeps are pulling for you. VFT forever. Thank you, Bobby. Appreciate you always being here. Love the support. All right, everybody. We made it through. Thank you all for the support. You guys are the best. And let's see, what do we got going on? We may do a stream tomorrow for New Year's Eve. I'll have to see how I feel. Someone said Nate's on the juice. Yeah, duh. I'm very open about that. I'm 40 years old, dude. Of course I am. Of course I'm on TRT, man. All right. Friday, I believe. What are we going to cover Friday? Oh, we were looking at potentially covering the new exploding microphone theory, not the lapel mic one. The one Ian covered, I think Trigger Smart, and I forget his name, who actually put the theory out. It's actually really interesting. If you guys haven't seen that one or not, I think we're gonna not Trenbolone. No. I think we're gonna cover that one. I think there's a lot of interesting stuff that's going into that one. It's way more interesting than the lapel mic. So I think we'll cover that one Friday. Also, we're going to talk about supposedly, you guys are getting me to say it right. What I was going to say. Oh, Tyler Robinson, the initial court hearing that they made private, they're going to release that publicly, which that could be a little bit insane for sure. So we'll just have to wait and see about that. But yeah, we'll look at doing the breaking down the new lapel mic, not a lapel mic, the new mic, sort of the battery mic that shot Shape Charge. Interesting one to talk about. We're going to talk about shape charges. So IEDs, which improvised explosive devices that they love to use against us in the Middle East. There was a really common shape charge that they used for that. And we're going to talk about the Israeli pagers and how that all could tie in. John Bray, there it is. Yeah, we're going to talk about that one. So I'll check the poll. Okay, check the poll real quick. 54-46 JD AOC. That's a pretty close toss up. That is a pretty close top up for sure. Wow. Yeah. Oh, and yeah, I haven't talked about this yet, guys. Apparently, I don't know if this is true or not. I saw a little bit of reporting on it that potentially Tyler Robinson's lawyers have ties to TPUSA. That's not good. So I'll dig into that. So that'll be the, excuse me, got the hiccups. That'll be the episode Friday. We'll break all that down. All right. So that is going to do it, guys. Short stream tonight, but again, I gotta get my health together. So thank you all so much. Love all you guys. And we'll catch you either tomorrow, depending on how I feel, or on Friday. All right. See you guys. Have a good night.